I recently read The 5 Elements of Effective Thinking by Edward Burger and Michael Starbird. The authors say, extraordinary people are just ordinary people who are thinking differently. Brilliant students and brilliant innovators create their own victories by practicing habits of thinking that inevitably carry them step by step to works of greatness. There are 5 thinking habits in this book, if practiced, will consistently lead you to breakthrough ideas. The authors have made 4 of the 5 thinking habits memorable by relating them to the 4 classical elements once believed to be the essence of nature and matter: earth, air, fire, and water. When faced with a complex challenge at work, in business, or at school, you can incorporate the elements of earth, air, fire, and water into your thinking to find innovative solutions and be more effective. Let me explain how. Element number 1, earth. To leverage the element of earth, break problems into their core components, their underlying factors, and seek to understand each of those components deeply. Get in the habit of asking yourself, what are the subcomponents of this problem I need to know more about? Create a mind map for every problem that breaks the problem out into different knowledge areas you need to study. If you have a problem with procrastination, don't look for a quick fix. Instead, seek to deeply understand the problem and write, when do I procrastinate most, in the center of a blank piece of paper, and then mind map the different factors that lead to procrastination, like distraction, lack of motivation, and a feeling of overwhelm. Then aim for a deep understanding of each of these factors. When you embrace earth thinking by gaining a rock-solid understanding of the underlying factors and core components, you increase the odds of finding an effective solution for that problem, but you also increase your ability to solve more complex problems in the future. In the procrastination example, if you gain a deep understanding of motivation, you'll not only understand how to motivate yourself in the future, you'll also increase your ability to solve people problems, like how can I motivate my team to get more work done? You can think of earth-based thinking like gaining a deep understanding of basic math principles so that you're able to solve advanced calculus problems in the future. Element number 2, air. In 1905, Albert Einstein asked himself a crazy question. What if I were to ride a beam of light? Einstein adopted the perspective of someone who could move at the speed of light. In doing so, he realized that by moving at the speed of light, the electromagnetic field of the light beam he was riding would appear stationary, like a frozen wave. The physical theories at the time said this simply wasn't possible, so Einstein decided to come up with his own theory, the theory of special relativity, a theory that's revolutionized the field of physics. Einstein embraced the element of air in his thinking by coming up with perspective-changing questions seemingly out of thin air. Chief among those questions was, what if I? I've learned that asking what if I when facing a problem often reveals simple solutions to complex problems. I personally like, what if I were a curious child who knew nothing about this problem? I find that this question gets me to look at a problem like a complete beginner and test all my assumptions. Another good question is, what if I were a pro and this was actually easy? This gets me to stop struggling so much and search for a more elegant solution. I find it's a great question when I feel overwhelmed by a problem. Successful entrepreneurs often ask, what if I were to buy my product? This question gets them to adopt the customer's point of view and notice points of friction in their purchase funnel, which they can fix to get more sales. To start leveraging the element of air in your problem solving, ask, what if I, and create new perspectives seemingly out of thin air. Element number 3, fire. When trying to invent the light bulb, Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. The authors explain that there's a big difference between failing and failing productively. Failing, looking bad, and quitting isn't useful. But failing and then asking yourself, what specifically went wrong and how can I do it better, is one of the most effective ways to gain insights and illuminate the path forward. If you take a practice test before a big math exam, zooming in on your mistakes and finding the questions you got wrong is a really effective way to determine what you need to study next. Learn to embrace the element of fire in your thinking by searching for ways you can test yourself, make several mistakes, then learn from them. Because paradoxically, mistakes lead to success. Element number 4, water. When you think of water, think of a tsunami. A tsunami doesn't start out as a giant wave. It starts as a ripple in the water, and then a small wave, and then it builds and builds until it becomes a powerful tsunami. The development of a tsunami is an iterative process. So too are great accomplishments. In the book, the authors explain that on May 25, 1961, JFK set the goal to land a man on the moon. But on May 26th, the National Space Council didn't suit up an astronaut. Instead, their first goal was simply to hit the moon with a rocket. After 3 years of steady progress, NASA successfully smashed Ranger 7 into the moon. It then took 15 major iterations before NASA could launch Apollo 11 and successfully land a man on the moon. The best authors in the world will tell you that their first draft is complete crap, but they always find something small, maybe just a few paragraphs that they can build from. By gradually building on what's working, they turn that first draft into a bestseller over the course of many, many revisions. Any breakthrough solution will be the result of a rough idea, an okay idea, made better through iteration, like an author improves his or her first promising draft. When faced with a problem, embrace the element of water by aiming to make a tiny amount of progress at the beginning, like a small ripple in the water. Then gradually build on it to create a powerful tsunami. Earth, air, fire, and water are the 4 tangible elements. But the 5th element is the element that makes the other 4 elements possible. It's the quintessential element. The authors explain that in ancient Greek philosophy, the quintessential element was the unchanging material from which the extraterrestrial realm was made. Here, the unchanging 5th element is ironically change itself. When you think of the quintessential element, think of a rising phoenix, a symbol of transformation and change. See, the other 4 elements won't do you much good unless you're willing to change your thinking. While most people are thinking, I am who I am, I can't change my ways, effective thinkers think, I am constantly evolving, I am a lifelong learner. Embrace the quintessential element by believing you can change your thoughts, your beliefs, and your habits if you choose to. In the end, when facing a difficult problem, leverage the 5 elements. Leverage the element of earth by breaking a problem down and gaining a rock-solid understanding of its fundamental components and underlying factors. Then leverage the element of air by asking, what if I? And start adopting new perspectives. Leverage the element of fire by taking small risks and embracing mistakes. Leverage the element of water by gradually building towards a breakthrough. And lastly, adopt an attitude of change and the identity of a lifelong learner to leverage the quintessential element. That was the core message that I gathered from the 5 elements of effective thinking. This book is a great tool to help you get unstuck when learning a difficult subject or trying to solve a difficult problem. I highly recommend it. If you would like a 1-page PDF summary of insights that I gathered from this book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game email newsletter, this PDF is sitting in your inbox. If you like this video, please share it. And as always, thanks for watching and have yourself a productive week.